Okay, we're going to have a look at measures of spread. The first measure of spread is range. Range gives us an idea of how spread out the whole data is because it is the highest number, take away the lowest number. So let's have a look at this set of data. We've got a whole bunch of numbers. The highest number is 12, the lowest number is 2, so the range is going to be 12, take away 2, which is 10. So the range is 10. The next measure of spread is the IQR, or the interquartile range. The interquartile range is the difference between Q3 and Q1. So first off, we've got to find out where Q3 and Q1 are. Well, to do that, first off, we've got to find where the median is. Okay, so I'm going to start crossing off my way in until I find out that that's my middle number. I'll just double check. How many have I got on each side? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 7 is my median. That means that Q3 and Q1 are the medians of what's left. Okay, so on this side, I look at my middle number. 1, 2, 3, it's going to be this number here. Okay, so that number is going to be Q1, quartile 1. And then what's the median of these numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be my fourth number. Okay, and that's Q3. And then the interquartile range is simply Q3, take away Q1, which is 10, take away 4, which is 6. So the interquartile range is 6, and that gives me an idea of how spread out, because that's this distance here, gives me an idea of how spread out the middle 50% of the data is. Okay, now for standard deviation, which has the symbol that. Okay, now that one's just on the calculator. So to do standard deviation, I'm going to press menu and go across to stat and put all my numbers into the first list. Then I'm going to hit calc and 1var, and now on your calculators it looks a little bit different, but can you see the one that's at the top of my screen? On yours it just has that. My one looks a little different. It's the same number. It's 3.0302. Now there is a different standard deviation called the sample deviation. On yours it has an S in front. Okay, we're not using that one. So that is finding the range, IQR, and standard deviation. Standard deviation is a measure of how far away from the mean each of the points is in your data set. So I'd like to show you how this changes when you have a different set of data. In this case, 12 numbers, an even set of data. I'm not going to work it out, I just want to show you how that changes the IQR. So let's do IQR. Okay, so remember, put them in order, or look, they're in order, and then find the median. Okay, well let's work our way in. We've got two middle numbers. So the median is going to be in between 20 and 20, which is 20. Now, I'm going to use Q1 is going to be in the red color. When you've got an even set, an even middle where the median is, two numbers, okay, when you're working out Q1, you have to use the bottom of those numbers in working out where Q1 is. Okay, so that bottom 20, it gets included in our bottom half, and now we can use that to work our way inwards to find out where Q1 will be, and Q1 is going to be halfway between 14 and 15. I'm going to use green to show you where Q3 would be. So just like we used the bottom 20, we're going to use this top 20 in our top half. And I'm going to work my way in. And then I'm going to find out, oh look, I've got two middle numbers there, so Q3 has to be in between those ones. Now, because these are consecutive numbers, I can actually work it out. Okay, halfway between 14 and 15 is going to be 14 and a half. Halfway between 22 and 23 is going to be 22 and a half. So the IQR, which is Q3 take away Q1, is going to be 22 and a half, take away 14 and a half is, let's show you on this, 22 and a half, take away 14 and a half, 8. So that's a bit of a trick when you get an even set of numbers, that you have to remember the top to incorporate each one into its bottom half and top half.